Hey everybody, Austin back again, doing a casual look at a game for 3DO called Starfighter. This is a game I had dabbled with on and off over the years, but I hadn't really gotten into it until just a few nights ago, or really at this point a couple weeks ago. It's a kind of a space flight combat game. Sort of, kind of. I mean, it definitely is, but it's an amalgamation. There's ground combat, there's air combat, there's space combat. Like, you start on the ground and then you end up in space. And the reason I wanted to show this off for this video series was that it's a really nice looking game for the 3DO. The frame rate does chug by today's standards, but it's a pretty good looking game and kind of visually impressive game for the console. It's also very bright and colorful. There's a lot of popping colors. This game was ported to PlayStation and Saturn and maybe even PC. I don't remember. I didn't look it up before doing this video, but the PlayStation and Saturn versions of the game they use way more muted colors, way more grays and stuff like that. And they don't look all that great. They might play a little bit better, but it's been a while since I've dabbled with those versions of the game. But the 3DO one it really pops. It's cool. It's a cool, unique experience for the 3DO, and so I wanted to go ahead and show it off. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pick up that controller and just hit the start button so we can get into our main menu. I'll just basically touch on a couple things in the beginning, and then I'll play like a level or two, or parts of a level or two, just to show off what the game is like, and I'll talk about the mechanics and things like that. This is a game that I definitely recommend for the 3DO. However, there are 60 levels in this game, and these levels start to get really complicated, and so it's not the kind of game that I really ever see myself going all the way through. However, the first handful of missions that I have played, I have definitely enjoyed it. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and just load the game. And this is one of those games that really has like no feedback when you're in the menu. Like, I press the A button and it takes like 10 seconds to go into the next screen. But this is, the first 15 missions. I've done, it looks like 7 of them so far. And I don't know if I can actually play an existing one. It looks like I cannot. So if I start here, the space station, this is probably going to be up in space. I might have to actually start a brand new game just to show you some of the earlier levels so you can see the ground parts. One of the things that's really cool about the ground in this game is that it's got terrain deformation. So you'll shoot the terrain and it'll like drop lower and lower and lower and kind of like break apart a little bit. It's really cool, and you've got lots of buildings and stuff like that also you can shoot and destroy. You'll get points and things like that. But yeah, we have this is a mission-oriented game. You do have to focus on the missions. You can fail the missions. If you die too much, you will also fail the missions. But the earlier missions in particular are pretty generous in terms of it's just like shoot stuff, kill stuff, shoot stuff, and whatnot. So yeah, I'm in third person right now. You can go to first person, and it does have inverted flight control. So down makes you go up, up makes you go down. You might be able to change that in options, or not. Holding A allows you to boost, and these are physical objects, and you can destroy them. And a lot of objects that you destroy in this game will actually basically give you power-ups. Now, the power-up system in this game is really interesting. It's these multicolored, or these colored objects. So there's a blue crystal right there. I failed to pick that up. You also hold the R trigger to fire. And again, A button to boost. And it's actually a really engaging, flight system, especially when you're on the ground levels, because you can go about as high into the sky as you want, and you can see all the way down onto the planet. It's the planet's surface. It's really cool. So there's a green object. I just picked it up. So the objects will appear in the bottom right-hand portion of the screen, and if you pick up certain combinations of them, the instruction manual unfortunately does not really tell you what the combinations are. You'll get various upgrades. You'll get special weapons. You'll get laser upgrades. I've got a couple laser upgrades right now, so my laser's blue, and I'm shooting a lot of shots rapidly. So I just slammed into an object and ended my mission. Let's go ahead and get back to the main menu. I'm going to go ahead and just start a brand new game so I can show you kind of like some of the ground areas and I can better explain what's going on. You do have some other attacks and whatnot. So actually it looks like I'm stuck on the first level.
Rookies Start here.
So let's go ahead and see what the mission
Welcome
is.
to FedNet Total Immersion Systems. Simulation Program 3.
Use of tactical maps, safe docking procedure. Okay, so this is just really basic stuff right here, unfortunately, so I'm probably not going to be able to show off a whole lot. I could probably still shoot and stuff like that, but yeah, you do actually, on some levels, you start in like a carrier in the sky, or the mothership as they call it, and then you also have to dock with the mothership at the end. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fly around. I'm just going to show you, like, kind of like, you know, how this game looks. So again, like I said, you can fly high into the sky, and what's really awesome is the sky actually dims. It's such an awesome effect, and it's probably one of the reasons why I was able to actually kind of get into this game a little bit. Now we're really high up in the sky, you can see the curvature of the planet, you can start seeing the stars as you go up. Like, check that out, that's so awesome. For a game of this era, that's incredibly awesome. Like, it's very, very cool. I love it. I love the trail in your thrusters as well. It's transparent, and then you can fly all the way back down. You also can turn really sharp in this game too. Like, you can let go of your thrusters and just do these really quick sharp turns. It's really cool. So let's go ahead and fly back down. If you press the L button, you will switch through your different attack types. So these are air-to-ground missiles, and if I hit L again, I have air-to-air missiles, and your ammunition's in the top right-hand portion of the screen. Your bar in the top left is your shield meter. But I like the old trusty laser because it never runs out of ammo. And you can destroy buildings, and buildings will, they will drop, you know, power-ups and whatnot. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll blow up a building, then go straight into the air and try to grab them. Got it. There's a yellow one, and I missed the blue one, that's okay. Let's do some air-to-ground missiles. They lock on, and they'll home in on various objects. More power-ups right here. Again, you got to get specific color combinations, and what I really should have done before this video is looked up a guide online. I'm sure there are guides out there that tell you what the, you know, the good combinations are. Some combinations will give you health back, others will extend your health bar, others will give you new weapons. Like, there's this, like, whip, this laser whip that you can get. It's really cool. Now, the air-to-air missiles won't fire unless you're locked onto something, which is kind of a bummer. Like, I'd like to use them right here to just, you know, knock over those buildings. Again, like I was mentioning, it's got terrain that can be deformed as you shoot it. It's a really cool effect. I can't think of many other games from this time period where you could do this. I'm gonna say maybe Magic Carpet. You might have been able to do it in Magic Carpet. I barely played that game, but I vaguely remember a similar kind of like flight system with, you know, potentially deforming terrain as you shoot it. It's very cool. Now, one thing this game does, I think, to keep performance up is it's got a lot of pop-in, so it actually doesn't render everything up to a certain point. So, like, these turrets all just popped in. Let's go ahead and just shoot them. Actually, these aren't turrets. It looked like a turret on the far left. But yeah, so your mission is basically to hit start, look at your map, get used to how the map works. You can hit the shoulder keys in here to zoom in. There's so much detail here. It's actually kind of crazy. This is a very involved game. It's actually quite impressive for the console. I mean, even for the era, I'd say it's quite impressive. The M on the top right, that is your mothership. The IF, those are basically kind of like teammates that can follow you. You can have formations. And this thing right here is a parachute. Parachutes usually give you like energy refills or upgrades or maybe ammunition refills. Just go ahead and hit start and just keep shooting stuff just because it's fun. See, what I usually do in this when I'm playing it is I'll speed up to what I need to shoot, and then I'll slow down, and then I will, you know, just kind of stay like this, stay slow and steady. And I can tell that I'm hitting it because of those like little blue X's. And I just keep my distance. Now, this is a fine strategy for early parts of the game, but I'm sure later on in the game you're going to have to play like really aggressive. I do know that I think the level before the first space level, it got kind of intense with flying enemies, shooting homing missiles at me and stuff like that. And so it looks like I don't have any air-to-ground missiles, because I used them all. But yeah, I'm basically just kind of like showing off like what the engine's like and stuff like that. It's a really cool game. I just kind of got lost in it for several hours the other night. And that's one of the things I've been having a really good time with my 3DO lately, is I've been intentionally experimenting with games that, especially games that are well regarded, that I just never really put much time into. Like, I put some time into Road Rash the other night. It was pretty fun. I put some time into this, and I was like, damn, this game is really cool. So let's actually turn around and try to destroy that building. Yeah, this is just all really basic stuff. Again, like, this first level here, it's literally a training stage. They want you to dock with the mothership. And what we'll end up doing is we'll dock with the mothership and we'll just call it a video. But I really wanted to show this off and just talk about it, because it's a really cool game. I might try to stick with it and try to do a couple levels here or there. But again, it is mission-oriented. And some of those missions, I think, can get pretty complex. I mean, they started to get complex about halfway through the rookie missions, like the first 15 missions. There are 60 missions total. That is a lot of content, especially for a game that's already somewhat complicated, you know, with its map system and whatnot. So I need to go to my mothership, and I am this white arrow right here. So, and one thing you can do actually is you can actually lock onto the mothership. So we'll come here, we'll zoom in. Oh, it's actually, yeah, it's still there. Okay, zoom in, we'll lock onto the mothership. Yep. And now when we come out, it'll basically just tell us where to go. So that bottom right arrow will lead us to our mothership. So that, I mean, that's pretty advanced stuff for console gaming back in, I want to say this was probably 94, 95. And there's our mothership right there. And so we're going to go ahead and just get behind it. And it seems like there are really like no offensive enemies on this first level. Like, I saw turrets down below. They will shoot you into two later on in the game, but on this first level, they're not really doing anything. So this is definitely a good training level. You can just fly around and shoot stuff. Other levels are also timed later on. There will be a timer in the bottom left-hand portion of the screen. And you can also hit back, and you can do formation control. So, it's kind of neat. We can't really do it right now, but later on in the game, these guys will follow you, and you can kind of tell them what to do, basically. It's pretty interesting stuff. Now, you do have to dock. You just fly right into it. Just don't hit the sides. And that's it. So yeah, I mean, that's not Starblade. But yeah, that is Starfighter, guys. Pretty cool game. You know, I just wanted a really good excuse to show this off. I had my 3DO setup still going and my camera setup going from the previous casual look at that we did. You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing some gameplay. And if you're, you know, a fan of the 3DO, if you have a 3DO or if you've got access to emulation, you know, definitely give it a try if it looks interesting to you. I think it's one of the more technically impressive games on the system, and it's just got a, you know, really good sense of immersion because of just how the flight system works, how it feels, especially like when you go high up into the air and you could see like the planet surface down below. Very few games from that era could really convey that sort of feeling, and Starfighter here does it very, very well. And so I recommend at least firing it up for a couple levels. It will take a little while to get used to the controls, but it, you know, once it clicks, and then you just feel like you're fully in control. Frame rate's not the greatest, but that's typical for 3DO. Even it's typical for early, you know, polygonal games in general, but especially 3DO. But you get used to that as well. Like with some other 3DO games. It's not like a Patonk level of frame rate or killing time or something like that. It is a very playable frame rate. It's just not, you know, a solid 30 or 60 or something like that. You know, it's a little bit lower, but it's still in that playable range, and yeah, you'll get used to it. I also love the 90s sort of cheesy 90s techno and dance music, I zone out to that stuff so well. And this is definitely the kind of game where like you zone out. It's cool. If any of you guys have played this before and you have gotten much farther into the game, again, there's 60 levels in this, and that's insane. That's an insane amount of content for a game of this type. When I fired it up, I thought it was just you go through 15 and then you beat the game, and I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll just, I'll try to go through all 15. And I pulled up the instruction manual last night, and I was like, oh, it's got 60. Yeah, no, I'm good. I might still try to chip away at it, though, and see if my opinions change. But for the early game, I think it's a really cool game, and it's definitely worth playing. If you don't have access to a 3DO, you can always try the PlayStation and Saturn versions. They probably play fine, but they don't look as good as the 3DO one. This is one of those rare examples where the 3DO version definitely looks nicer than the versions on other platforms. 3DO had a couple of other games that are in that same boat, like Space Hulk. Space Hulk was one. Need for Speed is another. Well, Need for Speed is kind of its own unique thing. It's got turned into an arcade racer on PlayStation and Saturn, but on 3DO, it's a simulation racer, kind of like the old test drive games. But yeah, guys, that was Starfighter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave some feedback down below on the game and your thoughts on it, whether you've played it or not. And I'll try to be back with another video sometime soon. So until then, guys, take it easy.